Hey everybody, Who's Your Jedi here with another review for you. This time I'm talking the Riverdale episode, The Dark Secret of Harvest House. And we're here almost to the end of things, and there's a lot going on here. So let's just kind of get right into it. Okay, so I do like that we finally understand clearly what's going on at the farm. Okay, and I have to admit, I thought like, oh, the farm, and then they're actually an Oregon farm. That's cute. That's cute in a funny way. But it's also kind of weird that they're actually literally labeling the things with the human organs as Oregon farm. I mean, what are they telling people that they're like getting these things from like pigs or something? Like, how are they explaining where they are getting these things from? That's just really bizarre to me. I mean, plus, if it was like a black market thing, you wouldn't be putting Oregon Farm on there. You would just put something else, anything else on there. Um, so, one thing I did like was that when Betty kind of finally found out what was going on, she grabbed one of those organs, showed it to Cheryl, and that's what got Cheryl convinced that, oh yeah, Betty's right on this. And yet, when she goes to talk to Kevin and Fangs, for some reason, she doesn't have it anymore. So, unsurprisingly, they are completely unconvinced. And of course, even before that, Betty once again goes over to them with absolutely no evidence whatsoever and tries to convince them that Edgar is evil. You know, apparently, Betty never learns that people won't believe her if she doesn't have evidence. And what was up with the whole thing with when they were escaping? Cheryl just deciding to stay behind. I mean, she had plenty of time to to crawl through that window, and if worst come to worst, they could have split up, and then there would have been double the chances of Tony and her, one of her, either she or Tony, being able to get to somebody in a position to do something about that. So yeah, that also just makes no sense to me. And I was looking around on Reddit today just to sort of kind of refresh my memory about what some people's opinions were about this episode. And I saw somebody who basically posted, like, can Kevin be redeemed? And man, they really do need to do something with Kevin as a character. It's like, just like, again, this episode, Betty like points, like, Betty looks at the scar, Kevin freaks out and gets like, don't you ever do that again. Okay, you have a gigantic scar on your body and your friend is concerned. I mean, I get not liking people touching you without your permission, but I mean, are we forgetting that Betty is supposed to be your best friend here, and you've treated her like crap for a while, like quite a while, Kevin? I mean, granted, there's also all those times that Betty had said, Kevin, I'm concerned about you. You should stop doing this incredibly dangerous thing. And Kevin completely ignores her. I mean, I get that Kevin is a gay kid in a small town and he's kind of lonely, but have you noticed that most of the people around him are totally cool with Kevin being gay? So it doesn't really seem like he's facing a huge amount of discrimination. Mostly it just seems like Kevin wants to like have a boyfriend, make out with people. I mean, I get I get it. He wants to be, to connect with somebody else who's either like gay or like with Moose, like who's bi. But I mean, his desperation for that has really caused him to do some astonishingly stupid things and not listen to people who are really do have his best interests at heart. I mean, now he's going to be down a kidney for the rest of his life just because he joined a cult. I mean, what in the world did Edgar show this kid? I don't know, man. Yeah, Betty's definitely earned a big fat lifetime of "I told you so's" for on to Kevin on that point. Uh, let's see, what else do we have to talk about? So it looks like Archie and Veronica did finally manage to take down Hiram. Um, I don't don't think we need to go into like just how ridiculous some of this is. I mean, Veronica just like fesses up to everything to the FBI agent. I mean, okay, great, but you're still 17 years old, Veronica. 17-year-olds being prosecuted as adults for serious crimes is not exactly unheard of. Now, granted, you're doing that to an FBI agent who has basically said, like, yeah, I totally want to nail your dad in the criminal sense. She's not going to throw Veronica in jail, but still, there's going to have to be all this on the record stuff of, oh yeah, I was basically running a illegal casino and speakeasy at my gangster father's behest. Yeah, that's not going to look good on the old college application. Uh, and then there's also the whole rather ridiculous scene where Archie goes in there, challenges Hiram, and Hiram goes, "There's nothing soft about me," while he's standing basically naked with a bunch of other guys talking to a high school boy. Um, I don't know if the writers were just not paying attention or if that was meant to just show how ridiculous Hiram was, you know. But boy, that was unintentionally hilarious. The only really good thing about this whole plot is how it really, if you pay attention, feeds into um, Hiram's character. You can totally see that Hiram, has been demonstrated time and again, that Hiram just is this enormous control freak who cannot stand anyone standing up to him, anyone challenging him. And he definitely cannot stand the idea of ever appearing weak under any circumstances. And it would have been nice if they kind of played that up a little bit, like him thinking back to last season when Archie kind of really pulled his fat out of the fire, like, you know, summoning up the Black Circle to help him deal with the gangsters. The idea that, you know, I found myself with my back against the wall and this high school kid is the one that had to save me. You know, my sense of self-worth just won't let me tolerate having this kid running around. And the really moronic thing about all of this is that after all is said and done and Hiram is sitting in jail, Veronica goes to talk to him, and she says to him, "Oh yeah, I knew you lied to me about me being the owner of Pops." And Hiram's just like, okay, you made your point, lesson learned. You know, as if Veronica is going to buy that. And this is going to, like, she's just going to somehow, like, oh, I fibbed to the FBI and this is all going to go away? I mean, what the hell? And never mind, there's the whole thing that Veronica has repeatedly confronted him about of, Dad, you've repeatedly tried to kill my ex-boyfriend? Never mind, you know, him turning his back on the whole, oh yeah, I'm trying to get away, I'm trying to make our family go legit. Well, that sure as hell turned out to not be true. I mean, Hiram has just basically constantly lied to Veronica and tried to hurt people that she has cared about. He has tried to manipulate her. And he just doesn't really get it that this is harming his relationship with his daughter, and that it has caused her to resent him. It's just like, Hiram, how did you not see this coming? Of course, if you know, try to kill her boyfriend and lie to her and manipulate her, your daughter is not going to take it well. And, oh yeah, we're still no closer, apparently, to Hermione having to, you know, suffer any sort of consequences for killing Minetta, or any of the other things that she's done. I guess they've decided to skip the whole, oh yeah, I was Hiram's right hand, and just turn her into this helpless victim. Which, God, I don't even have the words for how dumb that is. Oh yeah, and they've nailed Hiram on racketeering. How about some charges related to the deaths and murders that he's helped cause? That would be nice, but I guess we'll see if that happens. And speaking of dumb stuff, Like when Archie goes to talk to Veronica after that conversation with his mom with the incredibly ridiculous use of the term endgame, which, considering how recently we just had the Avengers Endgame movie, it doesn't. Oh. He goes in there and it's like, oh, Veronica and Reggie have just gotten together and have almost certainly just finished having sex. And Veronica is like, oh, hey, Archie, yeah, why don't you hang around with us for a while? God almighty, Veronica. No, of course Archie doesn't want to hang around. This would be like the most awkward hangout ever. I mean, I'm sure we've all at one time or another swung by a friend's place and it turned out to be a bad time for various reasons. When you realize, oh, I've come at a bad time, yeah, I really need to leave as quickly and as gracefully as possible. Trying to just drag that out for the sake of politeness only makes things worse for everybody. And Veronica is supposed to be this very social person who should be really good at reading the situation, and she completely falls on her face on this one. Now, granted, this is an incredibly awkward situation where, you know, it's her personally, so I can kind of understand her view being a little skewed in that situation, but still, God. Okay, so stuff with Jughead. Okay, first of all, I do like the fact that he did flat out reference Lord of the Flies, because like when he was being chased by the murderous Boy Scouts, that's exactly what went through my head. But the revelation here that Jason Blossom is the Gargoyle King. How in the hell does this make any sense? I mean, really. It doesn't. I mean, I've complained about the show not being a fair play mystery before, but this is ridiculous. I mean, we saw the video of Jason's murder. FP helped clean up the crime scene. All I can say is there better be a goddamn good explanation for this. I mean, it would be... Oh. You know, I hate to say something as cliche as I can't even, but God almighty, I cannot think of anything that sums up my feelings of what's going on here even more. I mean, okay guys, I'm just gonna have to call it here. So as always, thanks for tuning in. Please comment, rate, and subscribe, and take care and have a good one.